As a result of an attack by enemy kamikaze drones in Zaporozhye, infrastructure facilities were damaged, a fire broke out. According to Ukrinform, this was reported in Telegram Secretary of the Zaporozhye City Council Anatoly Kurtev. Kurtev added that information about the victims is being clarified. As reported, according to information released by Defense Minister Alexei Reznikov, Russia currently has about 300 Iranian drones and intends to purchase several thousand more. As reported, according to information released by Defense Minister Alexei Reznikov, Russia currently has about 300 Iranian drones and intends to purchase several thousand more. This is reported by the White House, reports Ukrinform. It is noted that U.S. President Joe Biden issued a decree authorizing Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, in accordance with the Foreign Aid Act, to provide Ukraine with defense goods and services of the Ministry of Defense in the amount of $725 million. As reported by Ukrinform, the new package includes funds to strengthen Ukraine's ability to conduct a counteroffensive. In the Kharkiv region, since the beginning of deoccupation measures, law enforcement officers have registered 1,398 war crimes. This is reported by the press service of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, reports Ukrinform. A total of 1,398 war crimes were registered since the beginning of the deoccupation measures, of which 1,237 were registered under Article 438 of the Criminal Code of Ukraine, violation of the laws and customs of war, and 139 under Article 111-1, collaboration activities, the report says. During the previous day, the police responded to 1,256 messages received from residents of Kharkiv region. In particular, on suspicion of involvement in sabotage and reconnaissance groups and in conducting propaganda activities, 40 people were brought to the territorial divisions for verification. In addition, law enforcement officers provided humanitarian assistance to families who moved from the territories liberated from the Russian Federation to Kharkiv. According to the Interior Ministry, the displaced persons received milk, cocoa, baby food, sweets, and medicines. Employees of the National Police's Explosive Service examined the territory with a total area of about 1,415 hectares with the beginning of deoccupation measures. As a result, 22,827 explosive objects were seized, and 1,876 were destroyed. As reported, the Coordination Center for the Occupied Territories headed by Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for the Reintegration of Temporarily Occupied Territories Irina Vereshchuk helped evacuate more than 20,000 women from the districts of the Kharkiv region liberated from Russian invaders during a month of work. Disabled and elderly people. On the occasion of the Day of Defenders and Defenders of Ukraine, 483 servicemen were awarded state awards. This was announced by President Volodymyr Zelensky in a video message. In total, 483 fighters were awarded state awards on the occasion of the holiday. 15 were awarded the title Hero of Ukraine, the head of state said. He added that he presented crosses of military merit and the Order of the Golden Star to Ukrainian heroes. As reported, on the website of the head of state, decrees were published on awarding the title of Hero of Ukraine to 12 individuals, including the centurion of the Ukrainian Insurgent Army, political prisoner of Soviet concentration camps Myroslav Simchich and commander of the Air Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine Mykola Olszczuk. The Russian Federation still has the human resources, weapons and capabilities to terrorize Ukrainian cities and blackmail the world, but it is already in an atmosphere of defeat and hopelessness. This was stated by President Volodymyr Zelensky in a video message. Look at how worried the enemy is. Listen to what and how the head of these terrorists is asked when he still comes out to people, to journalists. Russia is already in an atmosphere of its own defeat, already in an atmosphere of hopelessness for itself. Yes, they still have people who they throw into attacks, they have weapons, rockets and shaheeds that they use against Ukraine, while there is an opportunity to terrorize our cities and all Europeans, to blackmail the world, but they have no chance. And it won't. Because Ukraine is moving forward, the head of state stressed. The president assured that Ukraine remembers all its citizens both in the temporarily occupied territory and those who were forcibly removed to the Russian Federation. We will not leave anyone or anything Ukrainian to the enemy. Let's free up everything of our own. We will return everything that rightfully belongs to us, Zelensky assured. As reported, Vladimir Zelensky said that Russia has ordered 2,400 kamikaze drones from Iran. Advisor to the head of the CC Mikhail Podolyak regards the words of Russian President Putin that he does not regret the outbreak of war as a hypocritical dismissal of responsibility. Podolyak posted a corresponding comment Twitter, according to Ukrinform. Putin's statement that he doesn't regret anything, and the war was supposed to happen anyway, is a hypocritical dismissal of responsibility. Let me remind you, Ukraine did not attack anyone. Just like NATO. It is Russia that has invaded a foreign country, terrorizing cities and executing people, Podolyak said. He stressed that if Russia did not want this war, it simply would not have happened. As reported, Russian President Putin said that he does not regret the war he unleashed against Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky is convinced that Ukraine will return its flag to all cities in the east, south and Crimea. It is also necessary to return all Ukrainians held in Russian captivity or deported to Russia, the head of state said in a speech at the celebrations on the occasion of the Day of Defenders and Defenders, Ukrinform reports. We have liberated the north of our country from the Russian invaders. Freeing Kharkiv region, we are liberating the entire east and we will definitely liberate it. We will return the Ukrainian flag to all our cities in the south of the state, we will return our Crimea, we will restore the territorial integrity of our state. And we must return all our Ukrainians, who, unfortunately, are still held captive by the enemy in Russia, or were forcibly deported from our land, the president said. According to him, this is indeed a very difficult task, but it is up to us to solve it. Zelensky stressed that to do this, Ukrainians must maintain unity, support each other, do everything to strengthen the state, Ukraine and all Ukrainian heroes, those who are in the trenches, who are at combat posts, those who bring the most important thing closer, our victory. At the same time, the head of state stressed that Ukrainians have always fought, first of all, for freedom, and this can be traced in all generations of our people. So, he noted that the Ukrainian defenders from the earliest times of Russia to this day, when our soldiers overcome the Russian terrorist state, have a common glory and strength. This is the glory of those who liberate, not enslave. This is the glory of those who bring peace, not destroy it. This is the glory of those who fight for freedom in such a way that they become a legend even during their lifetime, the president remarked. As you know, on October 14th in Ukraine, the Day of Defenders and Defenders is celebrated every year. In one of the villages liberated from the Russian Federation in the Kharkiv region, the police discovered another den of Russians. The press service of the National Police of Ukraine, NPU, reported this on Facebook, Ukrinform reports. In the premises of the motor transport company, the Russians set up a command post and barracks. The Russian special forces were based here. After the liberation of the village, the stay of the elite unit here is reminiscent of an armored car burned to the ground by our soldiers, the remains of burnt equipment and a pile of dirt and debris that leaves behind the so-called Second Army of the world. Investigators and forensic police are now working, who, during the course of investigative actions, seize things, documents, and trace information left by Russian soldiers. All this will help to identify the commanders and servicemen who were here and bring them to justice. As reported, on October 5, the Ministry of Internal Affairs stated that police officers found ammunition and documents of Russians in the village of Dakhnoy, Kharkiv region, which was liberated from the Russian Federation.